Hello students, today's our topic is constraint equations. Topic number P 5.4, 5.3 was doing connected bodies. In connected bodies we have done elementary level, different varieties of problems we have done, but not done a complicated level of problems. That can be done only with constraint equations. Geometrically, for example, if you go to an English dictionary and try to understand what is a constraint, basically, constraint means restriction. Suppose I have two masses, M1 and M2, I throw them simultaneously, then one motion of one and other are not connected. But if at all I tie a string between them, then motion of one is restricted by motion of other and they have some interrelation. For example, the very common thing is, suppose I have mass M1 and M2. I am holding it and just I removed my hand, then they will be moving. Similarly, I have two masses, I hold them and there is no pulley kind of system. One mass is M1, other mass is M2, and I leave them. Then motion of this and motion of this are not connected, they are independent of each other. But here they are dependent, one way or other, they are linked. That kind of motion is called restriction. And that restriction we need to find it out. That's what is called constraint equation. Many a times constraint will be simple, with just by seeing it we can say what's the restriction between the moving objects. Sometimes we cannot say. So when you can't say with your common sense how the accelerations are linked, such case we have to derive constraint equation and we will solve problems. Now if I tell how many words I tell you will not understand, but when I take a mathematical example you will understand it. That too, level 3 example is much better. First I will tell you basic ideology of constraint equation, and we need to follow an algorithm to write a constraint equation. Very elementary thing, I'll take it. For example, there is a block of mass M and it is connected by a string, and this is hand, H-A-N-D, hand, my hand, I am pulling it. In that case, we will, common sense says that whatever is my hand's acceleration and whatever is the mass acceleration will be same. So we can write this like this: acceleration of hand and acceleration of this mass M are equal. So with common sense, AM is equal to AH we can write. This we are done with common sense, we didn't use any mathematics in it. For example, if I use the procedure, how do I get the same thing? So let me write again. Now I am doing with procedure. This is my hand and I am pulling it. This is a horizontal surface. So name all the moving objects. This is what is the beginning. Suppose this is there, I call it as 1. This is there, I call it as 2. Hand is also moving, no. So when I am pulling, my hand also moves. Name all the moving objects. Introduce a coordinate system with respect to a fixed datum. Something here, everything if it is moving, you need something which is fixed. So you can imaginarily create one electric pole, some anchored thing. Or if you don't like that, you draw one line and call it as datum. That means every other thing in this is moving except that. If you are not interested in drawing one line and imagining it, you can create some pole kind of thing, or a tree, or one stone which is fixed, which is not moving, you have to take into account. That's called datum. In future, I'll tell more about datum. Presently, that one you take into account. Link coordinates with the length, and we have to introduce coordinates for this. From here, this is first one, so it is at x1 distance. My hand is at a distance x2. If you don't like to name them as 1 and 2, you can name them as mass M and hand H. So this is xm, this is xh, and length of this string is L. Link the coordinates with the length of the string. So how these coordinates are linked? From here to here the string is there. So that length L is equal to total length xh minus xm. xh minus xm. In that way we have linked the coordinates with the lengths of the strings. Identify variables and differentiate. In this process, when you are moving your hand, with respect to some fixed pole, this distance will increase, hand distance will increase, but this distance remains fixed. So this is constant. These two are variables. vary, this also will vary, variable. So when you differentiate now d by dt with respect to time of length L, or d by dt of hand minus d by dt of mass m, this part is not changing, non-variable, so it's a constant. Differentiation of a constant is 0. So I am writing it here. 0 is equal to time rate of change of hand's distance is hand's velocity plus time rate of change, not plus, minus, time rate of change of position of mass m is velocity of mass m. If you further differentiate it once again, d by dx of the d by dt of 0 is 0 only, d by dt of h is acceleration of h minus d by dt of acceleration of mass. So we got the same thing. Acceleration of hand is equal to acceleration of mass. Take the minus, the other side, you will get the answer. So whatever we are inferred with common sense by seeing it, we got the same thing with a mathematical procedure. And you may think, sir, when you can say with just by look, why unnecessary or followed a procedure? The reason is there are so many things which you can tell with your common sense. There are so many things which you cannot tell with your common sense. That makes the trouble. So in that context, usage of procedure will make the problem easy. I'll take some examples where with your common sense, by seeing that visual, you cannot say which mass is going up, which mass is going down and all. In that context, this procedure will help us. So the procedure says like this: name all the moving objects, whatever moving objects are there in that, including moving pulleys. If at all pulley is fixed, don't need to name it. If at all it's moving, you give number to it. Name or number A, B, C, D or P, Q, R, S or 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Then introduce a coordinate system. So take some fixed line, either x-axis or y-axis. From there you are measuring the lengths. Like you measure x coordinate, y coordinate, like that. Then link that whatever coordinates you have written there, link with the length of the wires. That length of the wire will not change. So if one object goes down, one object goes up, the length of the wire remains the same. So after linking the lengths with the string, differentiate, identifying the variable. So you have to very much conscious here. What is a variable and what is a constant? Because constants will differentiation gives 0, variables differentiation will give you velocities and accelerations. Finally, we have connected them. Now, this we could have done even with the common sense, but we are done with the procedure. Now comes, this is the first example I wanted to say. Now onwards, work goes on very quickly, don't worry. So I remove this. And instead of taking datum here, I take some pole here, POLE, pole. Now will I get the same answer? So let us say this, if I take left hand side minus xm, right hand side hand is there, so plus xh, and length from here to here is L. Whether I should take datum here or anywhere, that's what I am trying to say. Datum can be anywhere, but we should have some fixed reference point. So with respect to this pole, this distance decreases. With respect to this pole, this distance increases. Anyhow, so here to here is minus xm, plus here to here is plus xh. That leads to L. Again you differentiate. Velocity of m minus of velocity m, velocity of hand is equal to differentiation of constant length 0. So acceleration of hand, after differentiating velocity we get acceleration. This goes that side, acceleration of mass m. Again we got the same answer. So whether you take datum here or there, answer comes same. Now instead of datum here, if I take some fixed pole kind of thing or fixed datum here, I can't take here because y distances will be same. I want an x variable in terms of x. So this is xh, this is xm, and this length is L. So L is equal to xm minus xh. Previously it was xh minus xl, now it is xm minus xh. So differentiate it. 0, velocity of mass m minus velocity of hand h. So now differentiate again. Acceleration of mass m is equal to acceleration of hand h. So whatever we have inferred here with your common sense, same thing is coming here. Now let us take another example. This is first example. First point, with this example we have cleared that datum is required, but you can take anywhere. Now let us take a simple Atwood machine which is very famous to all. This is say mass 2, this is say mass 1. This is a fixed pulley, and you have now acceleration of this is say A1, acceleration of this is say A2. We have to link both, how they are connected. So we'll follow the procedure. Name all the moving objects. Already it is named. This is 1, this is 2. Introduce a coordinate system with respect to a fixed datum. Some fixed thing is there. So I take fixed datum here. So this is my x-axis from which we measure y distances. This is at a height y1. This is at a height y2. That should be linked to the length. So length start from here to here, then here to here, then here to here. So first this length I write it, which is y1, plus this part of the length, circumference, half of the circumference, pi times of radius r of this, plus here to here that length is y2. This is to be equated to the total length of the string L. In the process of variation, this y2 will increase, y1 will decrease, the length remains constant, and this portion of the wire will be always there during the motion. So this is a constant, this is a constant, and others are variables. So differentiating this d by dt of y1 gives you v1 plus 0 of this one, because it's not going to vary, v2 is equal to 0 of this one, which is not going to vary. So a1 plus a2 is equal to 0, or a1 is equal to minus a2. It says that magnitudes are same, directions are opposite. One is plus sign, other is minus sign, which we were previously doing with common sense. We are saying that this go up with A, this will go down with A, like that. Arrow marks we have shown opposite, and magnitudes we took same. So what we would do with common sense, we can now do with mathematics. So now the question is, should I take datum there or anywhere else? Let us check like that. I don't take datum here. I take ground as some fixed reference. Then this part of the coordinate is y1 up to m1. This is y2 up to m2. Now when you want to link the wire length, here the length still above that also it's there. So we need up to this center, we call that distance to be some fixed distance k, constant. Fixed distance is some constant k. Now we can link the wire. Here to here, this distance I want. This is total k minus y1 plus this length I want, or pi r also I can take, plus this length of the wire I wanted to link. You are given coordinate systems, you have to link that. So k minus y2 is equal to the length L. What are the constants? K, pi r, k and L are constants. So differentiate. Minus v1 and this is minus v2 is equal to 0. K differentiation is 0, pi r differentiation is 0, which is constant. K again is a constant length from ground to that ceiling, and length L, which is which is not going to vary during this. Only this y1 and y2 will vary. So minus you take common, v1 plus v2 is equal to 0, or a1 plus a2 after differentiation gives you 0, or a1 is equal to a2 with minus a2. This is the way we can write the constraint equation, and we can proceed. So now what happens is, just we have developed a constraint equation. Previously also we got the same answer, now also we got the same answer, but only thing is, if you would have taken datum here, the problem would have been little simpler. If you are not taken datum, little complicated it becomes, but still it is possible to write. So what I am saying is, you have liberty to use this algorithm, but follow the procedure. First, name all the moving objects, whichever are moving. Here pulley is not moving, no need to name it. These and these are moving, therefore you call 1, 2. Next, introduce a coordinate system. Take one x-axis for finding y lengths, take one y-axis for finding x lengths. Previously hand and block, I took y-axis as a datum and I measured x. Something fixed during the motion is required, because in the ground frame you are going to connect the accelerations here now. I hope it's clear, but this is not yet done. How to do this problem using constraint equation? There comes some troubles with the mathematics. I'll show it to you that. Suppose this is m1, this is m2, and we'll go with the previous one. This is y1, this is y2. So we'll link it. This here to here is y1 plus pi r this portion of the length plus y2 is equal to length L. On differentiation we get v1 plus 0 plus v2 is equal to 0. a1 plus a2 is equal to 0. We got it. Here unknowingly, mathematically, we have done something which is generally ignored by many of the students. This is a very small point, but it's a very dangerous point. All the times you will get wrong answers if you don't understand this. Unknowingly we took downward coordinate y1 with plus sign. Unknowingly we took downward coordinate y2 with plus sign. That means we have taken downward to be positive. This is an equation, that is a1 plus a2 is equal to 0 is a correct equation. a1 is equal to minus a2 also, you get it. It says that one goes up, other goes down. One goes up, other goes down. But it will not tell which will go up, which will go down. But that is a true equation. This true equation is derived taking down positive. Now during the problem, previously upward going acceleration that we should used to take upward positive, downward going mass we used to take downward positive, and we used to write equations. Now you are not supposed to do that. Every time anything which is downward to be taken positive. So here weight m1g will act down, here m2g will act down, here t will act up, here t will act up. Now in both the cases, acceleration of first mass, this mass, is net force on first mass by mass m1 plus net force on mass second by mass m2 is equal to 0 should be taken. You don't need to imagine which goes up, which up. You go with the procedure, it will take care of everything. So now net force on this, but we have written this treating downward positive, so downward should be taken positive. So m1g minus t, weight minus tension by mass m1 plus m2g minus t by m2. Previously you remember, one equation we have written t minus m1g, other equation we have written m2g minus t, but now both of the side downward things are taken to be positive. This is equal to 0. Now take LCM and solve for t. And if at all you know the masses, one is 2 kg, other is 4 kg, if you know it, you write it. For example, this is a 2 kg and this other mass is a 4 kg, heavier one. So 2g minus t by 2 plus 4g minus t by 4 is equal to 0. So you want me to do with variables, I can do with variables. If you want me to do with constants, I can do with constants. So like this, some numbers I can take and do it. So 4 is the LCM, 2 goes 2 times. Here 4g minus 2t plus 4g minus t is equal to 0. Minus 2t minus this 4 goes here, becomes 0. 4g plus 4g, 8g is equal to 3t. T is equal to 8g by 3. You got tension. This tension you put it in this, you will get acceleration of mass m1. This tension you put it in this, you will get acceleration of second mass. You may get doubt whether what we have solved is right or wrong. If you do remember the last class which we have done for Atwood machine in 5.3, the formula come out to be 2m1 m2g by m1 plus m2. You can substitute and check whether they get this answer or not. No, 2 into first mass is 2, second mass is 4, gravity is g only, by 2 plus 4. I directly write it as 6. 2 1s are 2 3s are 2 4s are 8g by 3. Same answer, you get it. There is absolutely no issue. Now comes to the acceleration part. By substituting in this, you will get net force by mass m1, that is a1. By substituting t here, you will get m2. For example, a1 is equal to m1g minus t by m1, that is 2g minus t is 8g by 3 by 2. Similarly, a2 is equal to, get the answer, 3 2s are 6 minus 8 minus 2g, these 3 2s are 6 minus g by 3. What does minus signify? That means this mass which is having lower magnitude compared to this will not accelerate down, rather it will accelerate up. This all thing is told by the constraint equation. Constraint equation take care which will go up and which will go down. Out of these two accelerations, one will have plus, other will have minus. One will go down, other will go up. So whichever it goes down and whichever it goes up, it is already given now. Similarly, you substitute in this m2g minus t by m2. You will get the acceleration of the second mass. I'll do it. A2, m2, m2. So 4g minus 8g by 3 by 4. What do you get? 12 minus 8. 3 4s are 12 minus 8. 4g by 3 into 4. 4 gets cancelled. G by 3. Same answer, you got it. Magnitude wise, that is also g by 3, this is also g by 3. But this will go down, this will accelerate down, that will accelerate up. This is the way it should be done, and I underline one point, that this equation is being derived taking downward accelerations to be positive. Now you are not supposed to use both common sense to say that this go up and this go down. You are not supposed to use when you are using the constraint equation. Constraint equation will take care who goes up and which mass goes up and which mass accelerates up and which mass accelerates down. Now you are not supposed to imagine. Once you have taken the constraint equation into account, the constraint equation will take care of which mass accelerate up and which mass accelerate down, and it will give, if as expected, if it's something going down, we get plus sign, and if something gets minus sign, then we say that our expectation that it goes going down assumption is wrong and it will accelerate up. So this is another problem. Let me take the typical example for which student actually struggle. This is there in every book. 3 kg, 2 kg, 1 kg, fixed pulley, and this is movable pulley, this is moving pulley. As I told, name all the moving objects. As this pulley is not moving, don't need to name it. 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, already they are given in kgs, and you can name them as 1, 2, 3 only without any confusion. This you name it as P. You may ask why you have named it, because all moving objects are to be named. Datum you can take ground, but this will be more convenient. From here to here is y1 coordinate, yp, up to 2 is y2, up to 3 is y3. Here you have a problem that you have two wires. Here to here is one wire, here to here is another. Two strings are there. So first string we will take this as L1 from here to here. Here to here is y1 plus there is some constant pi r plus this length from here to here is yp. This is L1. It's not yet over. This length is of the next wire, next string. So from here to here is y2 total minus yp. y2 minus yp plus some constant length pi r. If you want to take this as r1 and this as r2 also you can take, but anyhow it's a constant, while differentiation it go away. Plus y3 minus yp is equal to another length L2. Introduce coordinate system with respect to fixed datum. Link the coordinates with the lengths of the strings. Identify variables and differentiate. In this, what are variables? y1 and yp are variables, L1 and other this is constant. So I write first differentiation gives relation between v1 v2. v1 plus vp is equal to 0, first equation after differentiation. Second equation after differentiation gives y2 yp are variable because this pulley is moving, this pulley is fixed. So y2 1 times v2, yp 2 times minus 2 vp, y3 1 times plus v3 is equal to 0. If you want, you can take vp value here and put it here. Vp is minus v1 and that minus v1 comes here, minus into minus becomes plus. So 2v1 plus v2 plus v3 is equal to 0. Differentiate it again, you get 2 times of acceleration of the first mass plus acceleration of the second mass plus acceleration of the third mass is equal to 0. As this equation, unknowingly we took everything down positive. So now consciously you have to write that this equation is treated downward forces to be positive and written. So in this wire tension is T1 and T1, in this wire tension is T2 and T2. Now we'll write an equation for this. 2 times of acceleration of this mass depends on downward force weight, that is 1g minus upward tension T1 by mass of that object 1. You might have confused. I'll explain more in detail. 2 times of net force on first mass by mass 1 plus net force on mass 2 by second mass plus net force on third mass by mass 3 is equal to 0. So what is the net downward force on this? So I hope you understood this. Take a snapshot. I need to solve it, otherwise you will get confused what is what. So 2 times of net downward force on downward, because we derived equation taking downward things to be positive. So downward will be weight 1g minus t1 by 1 plus 2g minus t2 by 2 plus tension here and tension here are same, 3g minus t2 by 3 is equal to 0. So you might have understood by this time what to do. All of them have T1 and T2, but yet we don't know connection between T1 and T2. Now taking free body diagram of this, there are two T2s downward and one T1 upward. So we can write T1 as 2 T2. T1 is equal to 2 T2. Or T2 as T1 by half, T1 by 2. So you can take T1 and replace it with 2 T2. Then you get a single equation connecting them. Thereafter, you from this, by replacing T1 as 2 T2, if you solve this, you will get T2. Once you get T2, you have T1 is equal to 2 T2. You will get T1. Once you get T1, go back again. The quantity in this bracket 1g minus t1 by 1 gives you acceleration of first mass, 2g minus t2 value by 2 will give you acceleration of the second mass, 3g minus t2 by 3 will give you acceleration of the third mass. Done. This problem, you may ask, sir, why you have used constraint equation? Can we do it directly? We can't do it directly. By seeing which accelerates up and which accelerates down, we cannot see. This is heavier than this, so obviously this will go up. But overall this quantity is going down. Then with your common sense, identifying which mass accelerates up and which mass accelerates down is quite difficult. You need compulsory the help of this kind of equation called constraint equation. This simplifies problem solving. Let us try. Now, as we understood how to write constraint equations, we can try to develop more knowledge on constraint equations. Once you understand constraint equation, how to write it, then remaining is proceed with NLM, Newton's laws of motion. After see here, first we are in this topic called P5.4, topic called constraint equation. We are restricting ourselves to write a constraint equation. Solving the problems using NLM, already we done it in the previous class. That and this you have to cohesively use it to solve problems. I'll take some more examples to explain the same. Yes, let us try this. This is also a famous problem. So 1 kg and 2 kg, name them first. Here to here, by taking this as datum, this is y1 plus this constant distance, say c1. No need even I need to write pi r also. Plus here to here is related to 2, because 2 is always goes equally with this pulley because they are attached. So it is y2. So this process length is constant c2. Again here to here this is y2. This length you can, if you want, you can take it, but it is not going to vary during the motion. Therefore, you can take it as some constant k, or leave it. It's equal to length L. Single wire, no, length L. Variables and constant. This is a variable, this is a variable, this is a variable. Other three are constant. Constant, constant, constant. So V1 plus 0 plus V2 plus 0 plus V2 plus 0 is equal to 0. So V1 plus 2V2 is equal to 0. Differentiate again, you will get acceleration of 1 plus 2A2 is equal to 0. This again I am telling, how many times I am telling that you remember, this has been derived taking downward to be positive. So downward acceleration should be taken positive. So how you will solve this? A1 is sigma force, net force on first mass by first mass plus 2 times of net force on second mass by second mass is equal to 0. Taking this downward positive, 1g minus t by 1 plus 2 into this one, 2g minus, there are two upward forces, tension here, minus 2t by 2 is equal to 0. We got a single equation connecting tensions. Solve it to get t. Once you get t, put it in this bracket, you will get acceleration of this mass. Excluding this 2 outside, put it in this bracket, and only the term inside this bracket will be the acceleration of this A2. Previously what we were doing, acceleration of this, we took A, with common sense we told that it is been distributed among 2, this should be A by 2. You used to take like that with common sense. Now you don't need to use common sense. Once you are using constraint equation, don't use your common sense, because it is some procedure in which our common sense is taken care of. So don't include the outside 2, only the A2 part is the acceleration of the second mass. Solve it in that method, solve it in this method parallelly in the same page, side by side, by making 2 columns. You will understand the distinction. Anyhow, we will take another example. This is one, that is 2. Now you need to write constraint. From here to here, this length is y1 plus this constant, I am avoiding it. Anyhow, constant differentiation is giving 0. From here to here again it is y1 plus here to here it is y2 is equal to some length L, and it's a constant. So 2a1 plus a2 is equal to 0. We got double differentiation. First differentiation give relation between velocity, second differentiation will give you velocity acceleration connection. And again this has been taken downward to be positive and written. Solve it. 2 into a1 and whatever it mass. For example, this is 7 kgs and this is say 8 kgs, and this you are taken as 1 and this you are taken as 2. So how do you write it? Downward 7g minus t by 7, and outside 2 is there, plus this one 8g minus t by 8 is equal to 0. Solve for t. After getting t, put it in this particular bracket, and the outside term is excluded. Inside term will be the acceleration of 7 kg. Inside term will be the acceleration of 8 kg. Done. Over. Again, where you don't need a constraint equation, again I am taking that as example. With common sense we can do it, but I want you to avoid the common sense here. Say m2 and there is a mass m1, and even you can have friction, but we are not taking friction into account. So now what? We need two datums. One is moving along x-axis, other is moving along y-axis. So to measure x distances, y distances, we need x-axis. To measure y distances, we need say y-axis and x-axis, like this you are taken, and that's a fixed. You can take this at this center. From there you have to give the coordinates. So left side minus x1, downward minus y1. Connect to the length of the string. Here to here minus x1 plus some portion which is 1/4 or pi r by 4. You know that's not going to change, right? C1. And this length is plus of minus y1 is equal to 0. Is equal to L. Differentiation gives this minus v1 minus v. You have written both of them 1 1. Better name it as xa and yb. xa and yb. You may get confused otherwise. So va and minus vb is equal to 0. So you can write it as va plus vb is equal to 0. Or differentiate again, you get aa plus ab is equal to 0, which implies AA is equal to minus of AB. So it doesn't tell that one will go down, one will go up, because here A is being taken along x-axis if this length increases, then this length will decrease. This length increases means this length will decrease. That is what is been telling like that. If x coordinate increase, y coordinate will decrease. If y coordinate increase, x coordinate will decrease. That is what is been told by this. If both negative numbers are there, you can't get 0. So if one of them is positive, other of them negative is there, then you get 0. We have written even though minus and minus, both of them appearing to be negative numbers. No. Minus of minus and this is 0. So some quantity will be plus, some quantity will be minus. Then only this is satisfied. VA plus VB is equal to 0. Two positive quantities when you add, you cannot get a 0 number. Obviously, out of this VA and VB, one of them should be positive, one of them should be negative. One of them should be increasing in length, other should be decreasing. One of them should be decreasing, other should be increasing. Then only this is going to happen. And now see, this equation is being derived taking which coordinate system? This coordinate system. This is x and this is y. Anything which is happening in this direction, positive quantity, sorry, this is x and this is y. So if you want, you can specify that also. Acceleration of A was ax, acceleration of y is ay. You write it and solve. If you get ay positive, that means it is going up, it is a meaning. If you get ay negative, that means that y coordinate is negative. So you try the problem and understand how the lengths are connected to the variables here. Similarly, there is two tables here. This is third mass. This is second mass. I'm sorry. So, what you can do? You have to link the length with the variables. This distance is minus x1 here to here plus 2y2 plus here to here is plus of x3. Left side coordinate you have taken minus, right side coordinate you have to take plus. This is equal to 0. So differentiate is equal to length L. Differentiate. So acceleration of A, if you call this as A with minus sign, plus 2 times of acceleration of B, if you call this as B and this as A and this as C, plus acceleration of C is equal to 0. Remember, left side is taken negative for this, and if it comes negative, this side it is increasing. If it comes positive, it is going that side. After solving only you understand, by seeing the signs you have to understand what was the coordinate system chosen. Right side is chosen positive for x-axis. Think over like that. Yes students, let us try this problem. Again, this itself is a datum. Here to here is y1, here to here is y1. 2y1 plus here to here is 2, y2, 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 y2. 4 lengths, 4 y2s plus 1 length x3, y3 is equal to L. On differentiation you get 2v1 plus 4v2 plus v3 is equal to 0, and after differentiation again 2 acceleration of 1 and 4 times of acceleration of 2 plus acceleration of 3 is equal to 0. Previously in 5.3 also I told this kind of problems we cannot imagine the constraint. We say that this goes up. What about other two? Whether both of them go down or one of them go up and one of them go down. So if this and this go down, this should go up. Obviously the connection is like that. So if this and this go down, then this should go up. So which mass will go accelerate up, which mass will accelerate down, we can't say by the visual. So this method will be very much sufficient. As I told, very quickly we can write 2 times of acceleration of this. These are being derived taking down positive. So 2 tensions are acting upward, weight is acting downward. 1g minus 2t by 1 plus 4 times of acceleration of 2, this one, second mass. Say if this is second mass, it's a 2 kg. If you are not interested, you can take whatever mass you want. Anyhow, I take 2 kg. So 2g minus 4t by 2 plus acceleration of the third mass, this one, 3g minus t by 3 is equal to 0. Solving this, you will get t. Put t in this, you will get acceleration of the first mass. Put t in that, you will get acceleration of second mass. Put t in that, you will get acceleration of third mass. And outside quantity, you don't need to write it. Only the inner part is the a1, inner part is a2, inner part is a3. Outside coefficient you are not supposed to take. This is the way you can do constraint equation. We will make it little more tough. Yes, students, this is another problem. Here we have two fixed places. So I name this as A and I name this as B, and I have to take one datum. I take datum as this, and datum to datum distance, some fixed value called k. We need it when you are linking the lengths. This portion is YA, this length is YP. You may ask why I named the pulley, I did not name this, I named this. We have to name all the moving objects. This is not going to move, this is going to move up and down. This one is YB. Anyhow, this already I have taken. Now this length from here to here, here to here, here to here is the first length. So L1 is equal to this length YA plus this constant I am not writing from here to here is YP over. That gives you first length is over. Now second length is this is that. This is how to take this one, YB minus YP. Total from datum to here is YB, up to here subtract. YB minus YP plus some constant length I am not taking, here to here, this distance. How to take this distance? This will be a problem. So how to take this? Total value k minus YP is your second length L2. Differentiate the first. What you will get? L1 is a constant, length is constant. So YA plus YP is equal to L. Differentiation gives you VA plus VP is equal to 0. AA plus AP is equal to 0. This is first equation after differentiation of 1. So differentiation of this gives what you can imagine and tell. K is a constant and L2 is a constant. 2AB, only 1. YB is only 1. So AB, acceleration of B, minus YP, 2 times YP is there. Minus 2AP is equal to 0. This is the second equation. And this pulley we are not taking into account. This take AP from here and put it in this. What happens? AP is minus AA, put a minus into minus becomes plus A. So AB plus 2AA is equal to 0. This is your basic constraint equation for this kind of system. Again, depending on the mass, if this is heavy mass, this goes down. This makes this pulley come down, makes this pulley to make this body come up. Conversely, if this is a lighter mass, this goes up, the string gets elongated and this pulley goes up, makes this body come down. So depending on their masses, one will go up and one will go down. One will accelerate up and another will accelerate down. Like that. This is another case. Once we get this, again this has been derived taking down positive. All the coordinates, YA we have taken plus, YB we have taken plus, YP we have taken plus, K also from here onwards you take arrow mark down. So all are positive quantities in the downward direction. So downward to be taken positive. You may ask me to write the equation taking this as a datum. I can do that. But the equation what it comes finally is to be accounted going up to be positive. Okay then. I will write for your satisfaction. So I take this as datum. This is YA. This is YB. This is YP up to this pulley, and total from here to the end is K, some constant. I need it. So how to relate the lengths? First length here to here, total K minus YA plus some constant from here to here, plus here to here is YP, but it's not, YP is from here to here. So total K minus YP is equal to the first length L1. Similarly, I want to get the second length, this one. This length is what? Total length K minus YP will give you YB. No. Directly YB I don't know, I don't want YB, I want this length. So YP minus YB will give you this length. YP minus YB gives me this length, plus some constant which I am not writing. This length I want, which is YP, is equal to L2. Common sense, differentiation, constants you remove and accelerations you can connect. AA minus AP is equal to 0, or AA plus AP is equal to 0. Previously also we had the same thing. In this, 2AP minus AB is equal to 0. Take AP from this, put it here. AP is minus of AA. 2 times of minus AA minus AB is equal to 0. Take minus common. 2 times of AA plus AB is equal to 0. Same equation you will get it. Whether you take this as datum or this as datum, answer comes same. Thereafter procedure you have to follow. Masses you have to write it. This is net acceleration on mass A is equal to net force on mass A divided by mass A. Net force on mass B by mass B. And this, when you are writing, you have to treat upward positive, because this time you have taken datum here and you took upward coordinates to be plus. So this is, see, there is nothing authentic. What you have taken, you should know it. You have taken upward positive or downward positive, you have to know. Accordingly, we have to supply the quantities in this equation. So you may be interesting to know how this problem to be solved. Let us see. Take this as a base constraint equation. 2AA plus AB is equal to 0, and this equation is being derived taking up positive. 2 times of net force on A by mass A plus net force on mass B by mass B is equal to 0, and this net force and mass are to be taken in the upward direction, and I write this as some 4 kg and 12 kg. So this A, this is B. 2 into, this time tension in the first string T1. There are 2 strings, no? T1, T1, T2, T2. So you take upward force as positive. T1 minus 4g by 4 plus upward force to be positive. T2 minus 12g by 12 is equal to 0. You have 2 variables and 1 equation, not possible to solve. There will be some relation. So here T2, T2, these 2 T2s, 2 T2 is equal to this T1. You can use this. The term inside this bracket will give you acceleration of this mass. The term inside this bracket will give you acceleration of the second mass. And this time, positive acceleration indicates going up, negative acceleration indicates going down, accelerating up, accelerating down. So keep these things in mind. When we have derived an equation, you should know in which direction we have taken positive, in which direction we have taken negative. You may ask, sir, previously also we got the same constraint equation. Yes, we got the same constraint equation. 2AA plus AB is equal to 0. Taking downward positive, you have to write there. Check that once you solve the problems and see, you will get answer in accordance with the physics. Mathematically, you will solve it. Finally, you will get answer. Something in this case, something which is going up will get plus sign. In the previous case, something which is going down will get plus sign. Like that. I will take little more tough problem. Yes, children, we are taking another example. It appeared to be even for drawing me it took 5 minutes. But anyhow, you take a snapshot and draw it. Follow the procedure. Name all the moving objects. I don't think this and this are moving. They are fixed. This is fixed to this. This is fixed to this. This is fixed. So these are 3 fixed pulleys. These 2 pulleys are moving. Call this P. Call this Q. You don't need to call Q because Q is connected to B itself. That behaves as B only. If it goes up, B will go up. It will go down. B will go down. So you can avoid it. By adding more numbers, you only get confused. Now, what? I want from here to here this length. So, total length from here to here is say YA minus here to here is YP. So, first length I am writing about this. This part of the length is YA minus YP, where this pulley moves. some portion is constant from here to here. This length, from here if I take datum, this I would have written it as YB minus this portion I have to remove it. So YB minus YP plus YB minus YP. This portion from datum, if you take from here to here is some constant K, YB minus K plus YB minus some constant K gives you the first length L1. First string is over. It started here, went like this, completed. Now we need to take the second string. Here onwards I start like this. From this to this distance we already taken it as YP. Here to here you don't need to consider the length. Reason is, as this portion is constant, as this is fixed and this is fixed, this much of length will be constant. So again this is constant, again this is constant, again this portion is constant. Up to here it is constant. This length will not vary during the motion of the objects. This length will not vary during motion of objects. This length will not vary with the during motion of like that. So this length again you have to consider plus YC. So you get AP is equal to minus, or AC is equal to minus AP. After double differentiation, AC is equal to minus AP. First, from the first equation what you get? AA YP 2 times minus 2AP YB 2 times plus 2AB is equal to 0, remaining all constants. Take this AP, put it here. AA, this I write it first, 2AB, and this portion minus of minus becomes plus 2AC is equal to 0. This is your constraint equation, taking all down positive written. This equation is written taking down positive. So some object which is going down, we have taken it to be positive. Like that we have written. This is a constraint equation. After that, rest all is known to you, what to do, how to do. Like that. Yeah, some more constraints we can do it basing on the differentiation aspect. So there is a ladder AB, and this portion is sliding down with VB, and this portion slides back with VA. What is the relation between A and B? So this length I call YB, this length I call XA, this length is L. And Pythagoras theorem at a given this angle is there, theta, and this theta will be varying. So Pythagoras theorem will be always true for this kind of thing. So YB square plus XA square is equal to L square. On differentiating this, 2YB dyB by dt plus d by dx 2xa plus dxa by dt is equal to 0. This is 2 times of YB times velocity of B plus 2 times of XB velocity of B is equal to 0. So take one side, take other side. 2 is common, you can cancel it off. YB VB is equal to XB, sorry, something, this is A, XA VA. So VA by VB is equal to YB by XA. YB is this, XA is this. Say this theta is the instantaneous angle. You can write this as instantaneous tan theta. Tan theta is equal to VA by VB. At that instant we can even connect the accelerations, but this theta will be variable, you should remember that. So when you are differentiating for the second time, differentiate taking tan theta as a variable. Or at a given instant they ask you to connect the acceleration at a given instant. Then at a given instant take theta to be constant. Then A is equal to tan theta times of AB. But if for any amount of time we are taking, angle varies. So you differentiate that angle also. Next, another this kind of problem can be done in a more short trick method. So this is going back by VA, this is going down by VB. If this angle is theta, then this velocity component along this direction and this velocity component along this direction should be same. This is theta, means this is 90 minus theta. So VB cos 90 minus theta should be equal to, this is theta and this is theta, vertically opposite angles, VA times of cos theta. This and that are equal because along the rod, this point and this point, along the length of the rod, should be same. So VA cos theta is equal to VB cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. Both are equal. So VA by VB is equal to sin theta by cos theta is tan theta. Same thing what we got it with differentiation, we can do it. Along the length of the ladder, the length of the ladder is not going to change. So this is going like this, this is going like this. I hope just see this. This is a short trick with which you can connect instantaneous values. Similarly, there is a problem in H.C. Verma book. There is one rod fixed and horizontal. On that there is a ring and there is a mass m, and this pulley is fixed. Relate the velocity of the ring Vr with velocity of mass Vm. So this length is going down along the string, this along the string Vm. Now this is not going along the string is like this. So what is this about this angle is instantaneous, at a given time instantaneous angle is theta. So we can take this as to be Vr cos theta should be equal to this velocity. Vr cos theta is equal to Vm. At a given instant, this is a constraint relating velocity of the ring moving on a horizontal rod and the mass which is sliding down. Similar question is been given previous in IIT screening. Mass m, two people are pulling equally with velocity v and v such that the mass get hoisted up, and at a given instant this angle is theta. So motion of this, how do you connect the velocity of this mass u going up with those velocities? So u going in this direction, take component in this direction, so it will be u cos theta. So u going in this direction, theta symmetrically you can take u cos theta. So obviously you will get the same relation, u cos theta is equal to v, u cos theta is equal to v, u cos theta is equal to v. But v and theta are given, u is not given. So u is equal to v by cos theta or u is equal to v secant theta at a given instant. This also you can do with Pythagoras theorem. This length is fixed, so take some k. This length is variable, take y. This length is also variable. When this goes up, this hypotenuse will change. In this case, opposite and adjacent remains opposite remains constant, adjacent and hypotenuse will vary. Differentiate and get, you will get this kind of relation. So instantaneous tensions can be linked. Apart from this, you have wedge constraints. See, there is a lot of constraints. D'Alembert's principle is also there, and some textbooks they do the problems like that. You follow one method, ultimately you will get all the answers. Okay, let us see. There is block A like this. All surfaces are smooth. Actually, that restriction is not required. And okay, there is another block, wedge B. As this slides down, this accelerates left. As this accelerates down, this accelerates left. So treating 1 and 1 here, as A comes down like this, B goes to the right like this. Connect their tails. This is the motion of B, this is the motion of A. And this angle will be given which is fixed. Like previous problem, instantaneous angle is not required. This angle throughout, it remains same. So draw a line like this. And we got this angle to be theta. This is theta, alternately this angle is theta. So this is velocity of B, this is a velocity of A. Both are vector quantities, this length by this length. So VA by VB is equal to tan theta. VA is equal to VB tan theta. AA is equal to AB tan theta. This time tan theta is constant, no, you can directly differentiate. AA is equal to cross multiply. AB times of tan theta. Don't need to differentiate tan theta. Here theta is not a variable, it's a fixed angle of the wedge. Previously in case of ladder, as ladder falls, angle changes. Here angle don't change. This is kind of constraints are called wedge constraints. I'll give one more example. This is A, and this is forced to fall along one vertical column. There is some vertical fixed column and it has to fall only along like that. So take like this. So V comes down like this, VA, and B goes right side like this, VB. Same again, draw a line. This angle is theta, this angle is theta. The answer comes same. VA is equal to VB tan theta. Like that. Not always. In this case it has happened. Now comes different answer. Instead of this rod A, this is A, and there is a column like this, and this column is fixed. A is constrained to move only perpendicular to B, not any other direction. As this angle is 90 degrees. The column is allowing the rod in that direction only. So as A comes like this, B moves like this. Now, how do you understand about the angle? This goes down. This is the motion of A. This is the motion of B. So take these points. This is the way the point A comes down. This point moves towards right. This angle is theta, so this angle will be theta. And this are perpendicular. No, this would be 90 minus theta. Isn't it? So as A comes like this and maintaining this 90 degrees, B goes like this, this is VB, this is VA. So where should be this? This is the right angle. This is the right angle. This is theta. So this should be theta. This is VA. So VB becomes this time hypotenuse. So we have hypotenuse, opposite, and theta. Hypotenuse, opposite, and theta. So sin theta should be sufficient. Sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse, VA by VB. VA is equal to VB sin theta. That's the formula for this kind of wedge constraint. So you will get acceleration constraint is AA is equal to, theta is not going to vary, AB times of sin theta. So now concentrate on the forces on A. Net force on A by mass of A is equal to net force on B by mass of B times of sin theta. Solve for the unknowns, eliminate the equations, whatever you want you can do it. Once you get the constraint equation, you can draw separately free body diagram of this. You get one equation for this, free body diagram of this, you will get one equation for that, one or two. And while solving this constraint equation will help you to reduce the calculation part. This kind of constraints are called wedge constraints. Yes, now students, we are doing level 5 constraints. This kind of constraints involve relative motion. So in one frame, this will be simple. See this, what action I am doing. This is a chalk piece and I make it move like this. It is moving vertically down. But for me it is moving vertically down as I move. For your reference frame, many people think that this goes down. But not only it goes down, as it pulls this wire down and this wire further and this wire like this wire, this mass M moves forward. So it also moves forward. So small m not only moves down but also moves forward. So it will move somewhere like this. This kind of motion is little complicated in one reference frame, and in other reference frame, if you happen to sit here, So you are the observer sitting on the bigger mass. Then the smaller mass appears to go down. Smaller mass appears to go down. So this goes down by some distance x. Then obviously this x and this x are added to this. So 2 times of acceleration of small m relative to the capital M. So capital M moves right side. 2 times of acceleration of capital M. This part of length is fixed. Plus acceleration of small m relative to the capital M is equal to 0. By this way you do it constraint. What actually advantage you will get in future is you can convert vertical acceleration, you can consider it. The horizontal acceleration you can convert into a pseudo force because you are on an accelerating reference frame. If the acceleration of bigger mass is say capital A and acceleration of the smaller mass is small a. But this A will not only be like this but also it have acceleration like this. So dealing two-dimensional acceleration is difficult. So what we do is we will make ourselves sit on this reference frame and observe. While observing, apart from all the forces on small mass, you will also consider one pseudo force on the mass in the left hand side direction. Then obviously it will be just going vertically down, and that vertically down acceleration, if you represented small a, that small a is relative acceleration to the capital A. Once you get this acceleration and this acceleration relatively, then finally you can find mass acceleration of this in ground frame because it not only goes down but also accelerates right. So AR plus AA will give you acceleration of the small mass. So anyhow, last I made it little quick, but follow these procedures to make the constraint equations. Constraint equations are primarily 3 types: string constraints, wedge constraints and relative constraints. When you have relative velocity constraint, you try to be in one of the reference frame and see the other. For example, I'll tell one more good one. There's an inclined plane, there's a block, and all surfaces are smooth. When this slides down, this will go right. So in the process, this motion is somewhere like this. Why? Because it not only comes down, it also goes along with the incline. It's a very complicated problem in the ground reference frame. If you take this as small m and this as capital M, on one of them as M2 or M1 and other as M2, it's a complicated problem. In that context, if at all this fixed, there is no problem. If this wedge moves, then better to take this acceleration to be like this, which is relative acceleration to the wedge, and acceleration of this you take capital A or whatever you want, A capital M or something, A of capital M. Because you are sitting in this reference frame, it appears as if it's going along the incline at a fixed angle. Actually it will go like this. Anyhow, once you find AR, this is AR, this is AM, and result will become something diagonally will come like this. This is acceleration of the small mass. This is relative acceleration of the small mass. This is acceleration of the big mass. And while drawing FBD of this, consider one pseudo force because you are seeing in this reference frame. You are seeing an accelerating body in an accelerating reference frame. So in that context, dealing the problems in the relative reference frame is more easier than in ground reference frame. This is all about constraint equations. Many more methods are there. In future, I will explain them.